Hello everybody and welcome back to the coolest dog training channel right here on YouTube. I'm Tom Davis, America's Canine Educator. Today I have a video from our Denver, Colorado seminar. This is with a young dog with lots of problems on the leash. Very pully, very anxious, separation anxiety stuff. And so this is a full tutorial from start to finish of us getting the dog out that I've never met before and going through the entire process of exactly how to get the dog in a better state of mind. Thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. If you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Peace. Yeah, we'll work on that. Okay, so you stop right there. That way.
Zeus, sit. Sit.
Okay. So that's the flat that you use?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you use anything else?
We bought any collar, we haven't used it.
Okay,
Don't
perfect.
know how.
Let me, why don't you just walk that way, and I want to see the leash work.
What is this?
How old is Zeus?
1.5.
So this is the stuff I get excited about. Okay, cool. So stop right there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with just a basic slip. I'm going to go grab the scissors really quick, and I'm going to make you a slip collar. That's what we're going to start with. So a lot of stimulation there. So you don't. So go ahead and just keep walking back and forth so I can see. A lot of disengagement. Okay, cool. Perfect. So we're going to start with the slip. So go ahead and stop right there. So you guys notice how there's a lot of disengagement between dog and handler? No offense.
No, that's fine. That's why we're here.
Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to get more engagement. Okay. So I want to make sure that the dog understands, like, oh, you matter. Where right now it's probably let's go run to mom and see everybody else. Because other than that, pretty happy dog. Cool. So what we have to do is we have to teach the dog that we matter. Because right now, you don't matter. Okay? So we have a lot of obsession with mom, I see. Right?
Yeah. Come here, Zeus. It's okay. Come here, buddy.
Where's that? So we can already tell there's a lot of stimulation there. That's going to go way above. Yep. Way above. Good. Yep. And then slip this on. Put that right over this loop. There. Nope. No. You're good. Right there. Yep. Good. Okay. Now you can take. Okay. So this is a case where I can already tell like the dog could probably be a little bit redirective because there's a lot of stimulation. Okay. So you already see the dog like, let me go. Remember we talked about frustration? So it's just because he's been allowed to do so. Do you do treat training or anything? Do you use any food or anything to train? Do you have some? It's okay. Is he allergic to anything?
No, not.
Okay. Here, so you want to go grab the food for me? Good. Thank you. Oh, lunch. Yay. Thanks, Emily. I appreciate it. Oh, now I'm your buddy. Ooh, bacon. I'm kind of hungry myself.
Right.
Okay, so what I'm going to try to do, guys, I'm going to try to regain a little bit of control with the dog through engagement, but also reward. So this is the type of dog that's going to need, it's like the kid, it's like really overstimulated, so you're going to get a lot of redirected behaviors. Come on, Zeus. You can stay right there. Good. Come. Zeus, come. Yes. Zeus, come. Zeus, come. Yes. Little too stimulated for food. That's normal. Stressed about mom. It's okay. You guys see what just happened? He ran at the end of the leash. He got corrected for the first time in his life. The second time, nothing. That's the beauty of operant conditioning, is just teach a dog right from wrong through the leash pressure. Good, heel. Good, heel. Good. Sit, good. So immediately, once I redirect the dog's attention and I say, hello, I'm here, the dog goes, oh, you're here, okay. This is a thing, right? Remember I talked about inside about that? Where you just get a dog that's just like, I don't know what the heck to do, I'm all over the place. And I go, listen to me, I will guide you through this. And then they go, thank God, you know what you're doing. Sit. No offense, of course. And in anything I do today, it's no offense. I'm just telling you the truth. So now what we can do is we can create a calmer, more stable. The dog mentally is going to be healthier, and we can start training the dog. Right now, it's just like, hey, buddy, I'm your guy. Like, just relax. Everything's going to be okay. And then the dog is getting paid right now through positive reinforcement because there's no pressure on the dog. So this is all positive, right? And he's too stressed to take food, and that's normal. Come on, buddy, heel. So watch. I want you guys to watch my leash pressure. Good. Heel. Good. Good. Good boy. That's a good boy. Heel. Good. Good. So I'm using my body to manipulate and dictate the dog's behavior. So watch my left leg. Watch what the dog does. See, he's engaged, right? Come. Heel. Yes, good boy. Good, let's go. Good. Good boy. Good. Yeah. Heel. Wonderful. So no verbal cues, no leash pressure. I just taught the dog right from wrong and helped it through the process. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? No? Yeah. Okay, well, you can come on up.
I do a lot of verbal cues.
Okay.
Is that bad?
No, so it's a good question. So
Normally, if he tugs, we'll be like,
okay, but so here's the important part to the process is if the discipline or the correction that you're trying to do, like or whatever, isn't effective, it's never going to work, right? So dogs are much more manipulative and much more opportunistic than kids, because they don't, like with kids, you're like, hey, if you don't do that, I'm taking away your iPhone. And they're like, oh shoot. Dogs are a little different. You have to really tell them like, hey dude, we're gonna do this a different way because you're losing your mind. And then he's gonna go, got it. But that's the problem, that's the bridge, because it makes sense to you guys, like, yeah, just correct the dog, good, boom, bam. But what I did is it's easier said than done. So I'm gonna walk now, the work starts, is where you guys have to do that. But to answer your question is you can do all the verbal stuff that you want, you just have to make sure that it matters. Because if it doesn't matter, then you're not progressing, right? So that one little correction where I moved forward and I went the other way, I'm like, hey, you gotta follow me. And he's like, Bort! And he's like, and after that, game changer, done, right? And he was like, so now I have and you're the biggest thing, right, for him. So he's like, I gotta go. And now you're standing in front of us, and so are you, and he's more relaxed. He's not completely relaxed, but you get the idea. So the biggest thing that I want to point out here, and I want you guys to take away from this, is your dog is mentally more stable, right? He actually has a position where he's like, I know what I need to be doing. Where before, if we were to go back and look at the footage, so that's good, good boy, good. So if we were to go back and look at the footage, we'd see a dog that's like, somebody give me something to do, right? And now I've created this. That's beautiful. Like that, for him to do that is really good, right? questions? Okay. Questions? Okay, I'm gonna walk you through this process because this is the hardest part, is teaching you how to be a professional dog trainer in the next 5 minutes. So when you're working with him, what I'm doing is I'm flicking my wrist. So I'm not like doing this and I'm not like yanking on the dog at all. I'm literally annoying the dog. Like I'm flicking my wrist, I'm pop. So it's more of a pop than it is anything else. A lot of dog owners will pull, they'll take the leash and they'll pull and they'll pull and they'll pull. Can you give me your leash? So what a lot of dog owners will do is they'll take the leash and they'll try to pull you. So when you do a correction, don't do this. Don't try to like pull the dog, right? You just want to pop the dog like really quick, like that, okay? And the other things that makes a big difference is the slip collar that I'm using allows me to distribute the pressure to the dog safely. Like he doesn't like it, but it's safe. Like he's not gonna hurt himself. So I'm gonna have you guys do that. I would recommend the left side because that's where I'm gonna handle, unless you completely do everything on the right side. Okay, okay, yeah, that's perfect. So just consistency is key. So you guys one more time what I do and then you're gonna do it, okay? So I'm gonna go back. Pay attention to my shoulders, and I want you to pay attention to my leash pressure. Good. Heel. Good. So I'm looking like here. I'm not looking here, and I'm not looking here. I'm looking here. So I'm using my vision around him to see where he's going. And then when I stop, sit. Good. So ultimately, I would safely say to transition this dog into a nicer dog on the leash, I may have corrected the dog maybe 3 times, maybe. 1 for sure. But I'm just gonna play it safe and say maybe 3, right? So now it's your turn. Now, your relationship with the dog is gonna immediately change. You're gonna see regression almost immediately, which is normal, so don't worry about that. But I'm gonna walk you through the process. Do you have any questions? Yep. It's tools. Yeah. Yeah. And the difference is again, it's punishment versus not. It's like actually putting into play what you mean and not. It's the difference between like, could I take this apart with a hand screwdriver? Sure. But if I had a power gun, it would be a lot easier, right? So is it possible? Yeah, maybe, but not efficient. Go ahead. Break. Do you have a heel and do you have a break command? Okay, so we're gonna use that when you're ready to disengage. So like when I disengaged him right there.
Go ahead. Come on, heel.
So yep, heel.
Come on, heel.
No, it's fine. You can go. Go ahead. So start rewarding that heel because that's a better walk than before. Slow down. There. Nice. Come up to the shade. Stop. Beautiful. Reward him for that.
Good boy.
Good. Difference, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Left.
So stop. So I want you to put this all in one hand. Other way. Yep. Nice and relaxed. Go ahead. Good. Just put your elbow down a little bit. Good. Nice and relaxed. Take a deep breath. Good. Come back to me. Good. Slow down. Look. Yep. Slow down. Look right at me. Good. Stop for a second. Wonderful. Come again. Slow down a little bit. So he's engaged with you, right? He's paying attention to you. Stop. Put him in. Yeah, he is. Put him in a sit.
Sit.
Good. Give him a little bit of love for that. Good. So the only thing I would say is ask him to sit before you give him pressure. So you said sit, right? So give him an opportunity to do it. Because the goal here is like, especially for me, like me advocating and using tools as much as I do to help dogs, I also have to make sure that I have to teach people also how to reward dogs and how to use the tools properly. So making sure that like you're not going sit, heel, you're only gonna use any tool on a dog if they're not doing something that they know that they shouldn't be doing. But in this case, we had to just basically go straight from nothing to something. So we did correct him for pulling to just teach him like, dude, chill. But much different dog, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm so used to just,
Yeah, so
other one.
yeah, so and that's a good point. So when you're handling a dog, like you want to take this leash and just put it right here, and just walk because your wrist is gonna correct the dog. But ultimately, the other thing that you have to think about too is this is your lifeline with the dog. This is your communication, right? So like I told you to put your elbow down. See how you were like this? You didn't even realize it, but you're like this a little bit. And that gives the dog like 50% pressure. And you're already telling the dog that they're halfway doing something wrong already when they're not. So you want to be very binary. Good dog, bad dog. Good dog, bad dog, bad dog, bad. All of that pressure when that elbow moves up to give pressure to the dog is telling him and he's doing something wrong. So everyone does. So you just have to be like, hey, we're gonna go for a walk, and then if you decide that you're gonna pull and be a jerk, you're gonna get corrected. But you're only gonna do that again, like this whole process, a couple corrections, and he's right.
Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm walking like that, you're supposed to look at him. So if a squirrel, rabbit, dog, something comes out, and I know he likes, he does his little, he looks over.
Yeah.
I normally look down to see if he does his like,
Yeah, gotcha.
So I look down, and that's when I'll kind of like already
Give him Yep. So it's a good question. Everyone does. Do you guys hear that question? Like, how do you not preempt like the behavior from happening? Because what you're doing is the same thing with like when you get your keys out, the dog goes, okay, we're going somewhere. When you look at the dog, you basically, the dog learns that if you look at him, there's going to be something fluffy running around. So just do the best you can to just be chill. Yeah, like if a dog, like if I stood here and a squirrel ran out, I would be like, whoa, sit. What's changed? So just do the best you can to keep a ground, like a level-headed approach when you're moving forward with that. One thing that you can do instead of trying to battle the heel in that position is just put them into a sit and just wait and then break. But don't do it when you see the squirrels. Do it all the time, and then if you see the squirrel, it'll apply. Because you don't never want to condition something that's basically, you're being proactive. You want to say sit, okay, heel, sit, okay, heel, sit, okay, heel. So that way when you see a squirrel, you go sit. He's like, oh, I've done this 10 times, right?
And then, so this collar.
Good. Yeah, so.
Always walk him with that?
Good question. It's another good question. Did you guys hear that? So when you're using tools, the goal isn't to rely on them. Because, like when I tell people like, oh, when you're stuffing your dog full of hot dogs, they're not actually listening to you, they're doing something for food. You can say the same thing with tools, right? You can bounce it back and say your dog's only listening because you're punishing them. On the contrary, I have actually only corrected this dog like once or twice, and he's a completely different dog. Yeah. For now. As we continue to train, we'll progress and get better. But you're only, so this is a safety tool, right? So you're gonna use this when you go out because the public are gonna fail you. The public are going to be the people that's going to fail you, right? You're going to be sitting here training and you're going to be really good. And then Joe Schmo is going to come up with his crazy dog on the flexi and it's going to be ruined. So you're going to use this to just remind the dog that they have to be into place because it's better to have it than not. Because here's the thing, when you're doing discipline, especially in the foundational period, if you correct the dog once or twice for doing a behavior and they understand it, and then they get away with it a different time, then they're going to be collar aware. Okay. When you want to say, nope, heel means heel, sit means sit, regardless of what you have on. But using the tool will help reinforce that until you come to a point where the dog's just wonderful. And you can get to that point, but you have to practice it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like, why do we have seatbelts? Yeah. Right? Why do we have fire extinguishers? Like, we just have them because if something does happen, it's better to have it than not. Okay. Yeah. Great question. Another good question. These are all good. So yeah, going back, so a lot of trainers would probably just have used the prong or even the plastic pinch. But what I try to do is I test my skills as a trainer to see if I can use the most minimal amount of aversive tools, like a little cloth slip, to see if I can train the dog. And that's a challenge to me. That's a personal challenge to me to see how far off this dog is from reality. And so for here, typical case, I just never want to overdo equipment only because I advocate for it so much. I don't want to overkill the dog. Now, moving forward, if you guys weren't able to gain the control that I do, which normally happens, then I would have switched to a different piece of equipment. Because what I do with the dog as a professional is going to be different from what anybody else does with the dog. You know what I mean? Your relationship is different, your handling is different, your timing is different. You know, I don't go to your work and expect to do exactly what you guys do perfectly, right? So I don't expect anybody to manipulate or to mirror everything that I do. So sometimes I'll use equipment because the owners need it. Because the equipment is a tool to help the process go faster, smoother. Again, like this, like I can get my hand wrench out and take this whole thing down, or I can just get a screw gun, right? So the tool is gonna help us get from point A to point B faster and usually more efficient. But it's a really good question. So I always try to do minimal aversive first. But here's okay, so I'm gonna try something really quick. I wanna try something to go back to what you were saying too. Heel. Heel. Sit. Zeus, heel. Good. Heel. Sit. Good. Heel. Sit. Good. So what that does is I don't want anybody to think that you have to have the collar on the dog for the dog to listen, because my goal is to teach the dog with the tools, right? That's the only goal that a tool is to say no, yes. So sit. I wouldn't be doing my job if I just said, hey, here's your Mr. Fix-It tool. For some dogs, yeah, sure. But with this dog, our goal with training with tools is to just teach the dog the behavior, and then hopefully you don't need it. Exactly.
Good thing too, because I honestly kind of came to the point where wanting to learn about the fawn color.
Yeah, and we can use it, but you may not need it.
Yeah.
When we get outside, could be a completely different ball game. The dog could go crazy and choke themselves out. Then we need to switch to a prong because it's not safe. But the goal is to teach, not to depend. Again, same thing with food. When people are like, when I say, oh, the only reason why your dog's doing that is for food, it's like, the only reason why your dog's doing that for tools. So what I really want to do is just be like, no, I want to teach the dog, right? Cool, so you can put them up, make sure you give them some water. Any questions on that, guys?
I have a question.
Yeah.
To see a squirrel decide to take off,
Yeah.
what do you